This is Valley News Live at 10.
New tonight at 10. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nisha Taylor. A Grand Forks woman is now facing DUI charges after leading law enforcement on a chase through Hillsborough before crashing her vehicle into nearby homes. This all started during a traffic stop on State Highway 200. Authorities say a Traill County Sheriff's deputy was conducting a DUI investigation with a male driver, but the 22-year-old passenger jumped into the driver's seat and took off. The deputy then pursued the woman in the vehicle. She later lost control and ran off the road before striking two homes and several trees. The car then caught on fire and the deputy pulled the woman to safety. The fire was later put out by the homeowner. The woman was treated at a nearby clinic before being flown to a local hospital right here in Fargo. Her condition is still unknown at this time. And Friday night, Benson County Sheriff deputies were led on a high-speed chase, and the driver is now facing several charges. Authorities say around 7 p.m., deputies received a report of a stolen vehicle traveling on Highway 20 near St. Michael. Deputies attempted a traffic stop, but the driver, now identified as 25-year-old Lars Hinton, fled in the vehicle, leading them on a high-speed chase into Devil's Lake. Authorities say throughout the chase, speeds reached over 100 miles per hour. Law enforcement used tire deflation strips attempting to stop the vehicle before it ran off the road. Hinton later attempted to run, but he was caught and arrested by deputies. Hinton is facing several charges, including DUI, possession of a stolen vehicle, and reckless endangerment. He was also arrested for 3 outstanding warrants. Hinton could also face charges in Ramsey County and Spirit Lake. Also new tonight, a Detroit Lakes man was arrested for alleged sex crimes against a minor. According to court documents, the crime spanned from early 2017 to late last year. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling is in the studio to break down this case. Aaron?
65-year-old Patrick Finday is now charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct. Court docs reveal he had allegedly committed sex crimes against a minor for several years. The investigation started February this year when the Becker County Sheriff's Office was alerted about the alleged assault reported by a juvenile student at an elementary school. The victim gave a descriptive detail of what had happened at the hands of Finday. She says the sexual abuse started when she was in the 1st grade and that the acts ranged from inappropriate touching to sexual assault. If Finday is convicted, he could face 30 years behind bars.
Finday is expected to appear in court tomorrow. As Ukraine settles into its 2nd month of fighting off Russian forces, the nation is seeing some victories. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky continues his calls for NATO to help. Here's more.
Ukraine is gaining ground on Russian forces, reclaiming several villages in a series of counterattacks, including to the east of Kharkiv and northwest of Mariupol, according to local officials.
It's clear that Russian forces are not performing as anticipated.
An enlisted Ukrainian singer traveling the country says morale is high right now.
And united we are, and we will win this war, no doubt for me.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is repeating his pleas for more military assistance.
1% of all the planes of NATO, 1% of all the tanks. That's all we're asking for.
Right now, the United States is very much focused on their air defense needs, and we're delivering multiple capabilities to try and address those requirements.
Now, one Russian general suggesting the country will tighten its focus primarily to the Donbas region.
I don't think we have evidence of that quite yet. Next couple days, the United States, working closely with allies and the Ukrainian government, will be looking for evidence of this shift.
Ukraine's military intelligence head says Russian President Vladimir Putin could be looking to carve Ukraine in two. I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
A funeral service was held yesterday in Arkansas for award-winning journalist Brent Renaud, who was tragically killed while on assignment in Ukraine. 50-year-old Renaud was shot and killed near Kiev while gathering material for a report about Ukrainian refugees. Renaud won numerous awards for documentary filmmaking, including a Peabody. And the war in Ukraine continues to have impacts on other countries. Experts fear the war could increase hunger in Africa. African families are already seeing an increase in the price of essential commodities. Most African countries depend heavily on imported foods such as wheat and vegetable oil from Ukraine and Russia. The United Nations says the two countries produce nearly a third of the world's wheat and more than half of the world's sunflowers and seeds. The bird flu has been confirmed in 2 poultry flocks in Minnesota. That's according to yesterday's announcement from the State Board of Animal Health. The agency said the poultry flocks are in Meeker and Mower counties. Samples collected from both flocks were tested on Friday and were confirmed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The State Board of Animal Health said it's the first confirmed cases in Minnesota. State animal health officials have quarantine the properties. Officials say all birds in the flock will be destroyed and will not enter the food system. This month, Congress passed a legislation intended to benefit service members and their families. The Senate bill was signed by President Joe Biden on March 11th. The bill enables all state and tribal veteran cemeteries to continue to receive grants from the Veterans Association without hesitation, regardless if those cemeteries bury reserve components. Some reserve components who did not have active duty training are now fully eligible in state and tribal cemeteries with its passage.
They signed on to serve our country, and they certainly deserve this honor. And it means they now have another place, an option for burial as they should, along with their spouses and eligible dependents.
The North Dakota Veterans Cemetery has been interring National Guard members since their inception in 1992. The bill cements that practice and opens it up to other state veteran cemeteries nationwide. Later on Valley News Live at 10, there's a growing trend that is giving some people the upper hand in the home buying process. But up next, temperatures are expected to remain in the 40s for tomorrow, but a chance of snow is forecasted for the middle of the week. Summer's up next.